We are Screen Heroes.
Yes, we are.
And we are back. We are back. It's 2017.
It is.
We're the future.
It is the future is
well,
now.
It's the past for everybody listening to this.
But we were in the future, and now we're not in the future.
It's very weird.
Time travel. It's a thing.
All in one episode.
And if you're watching live, then we still are in the future.
We're
We're like 20 seconds ahead.
That's right. We're not even present. We're not present anywhere except
Very
in this
weird.
room. I am Derek, one of the regular hosts of Screen Heroes, with my other two lovely regular hosts,
Aww.
Ryan
Hello.
and
Did
Ray.
we actually plug the microphone in this week? That's one thing I
Yeah.
Okay, good.
The microphone.
I don't.
It's right. No, the microphone's
The
right
tiny
here.
one.
I'm not using that one tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, but this one though, the live stream one is in.
Yeah, we're
So
good.
we're good. The Yeti mic is in. So, so Derek,
Wow.
Ryan, and Ray, and this
Hi.
is season 3 of Screen Heroes, episode 53.
Or episode 1.
Season 3 episode. Yeah, I guess it's season 3 episode 1.
S3E1.
That's right. And what are we talking about, guys? What are we doing?
2017. That's what we're talking about.
Just the whole year.
The whole
We're going to talk
year.
about the whole year. Everything that's happened to us up to this point.
So, unlike other podcasts who think it's hilarious to do Deadpools, we're not going to do that. We're going to create movie Deadpools.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were talking about the comic book character for a minute, and I was like, how do they do Deadpool?
An actual Deadpool.
Because if we can bring Ryan Reynolds on, we should totally do that if that's an option.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take all the good looks away from him, though, and take all the focus off of him.
That's
That would be
very
a little
true.
much.
That's
We'll have him wear the mask.
That's a good point. Or the makeup,
Yeah.
either one.
Yeah.
I thought that was just his face.
Yeah. Just like that's just my arms, right?
So yes, we are going to do some predictions for what we think is going to happen in movies and TV in 2017.
Yep.
And then at the end of, I guess it will be season 4 of Screen Heroes, at the end of 2017, we will come back and see how right or wrong, and probably wrong, we were.
It'll be
Or
like
how probably right we were.
It'll be like a victory lap.
Right. For whoever did a decent
few
job.
Or
on
a
this,
very
so.
horrible loss live on the internet.
Like if
for everybody to laugh.
if all 3 of us bomb completely,
No,
we're
there's
gonna
no way.
forget that we're gonna do this.
We're not all gonna bomb completely. Like some might bomb worse than others, but likely we will.
We don't feel like we're both talking about Derek.
Yeah, exactly.
No, look, I feel like some of these are much more difficult than
Derek
others.
goes off emotions. That's
We
gonna be
don't
his
have
problem.
To answer all the questions, okay?
Oh, I answered all the
Me
questions.
too.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
There's a couple that I'm not like super confident in,
That's
but
fine.
I did answer
That's
all of the
fine.
questions. So now, before we kick off and go into it, I do want to make one little announcement about 2017. So on Friday, January 5th,
That's this week.
that's this week,
Holy moly.
we are launching a new podcast series
Holy
that will
moly.
Well,
come
not
out.
we.
We as the Heroes Podcast
Yes,
Network.
but not we as the Screen Heroes.
You guys will come on it from time to time, I'm sure. You play. Look, it's called Gamer Heroes.
How much does it pay?
It doesn't. It pays as much as this one does.
I
I
think
was gonna make a dirty joke, but I'll keep it to myself.
The new show is called Gamer Heroes. It's going to focus on video games, including PC, console, and we'll also talk about mobile games from time to time, since those are getting more and more legit as time goes on. And
You
that
just want to talk about Super Mario Run.
that's actually not the main one we want to talk about
Pokemon?
first. It's not that one either. You'll have to tune in to find out, because we actually have one that we do want to talk about.
Candy Crush?
So it's not Candy Crush.
Oh, I can't tune in then. That's the only game I know.
I am very proud to say I've never played Candy Crush, so
I have played
missed
Candy
that wave.
Crush-like things, but not actually Candy Crush.
So you're like the hipster of Candy Crush.
Oh,
Right, she
shut
played it
your
before it was
butthole.
cool.
Anyway, so Friday that first episode will come out. Yes, I will be one of the hosts, along with John, who has been on this show a few times, and a new guy, David, who will be actually guesting on this show later in January when we do our X-Men episode.
Does he like
So-
long walks on the beach?
He does, but probably not with me.
Oh, okay.
So
Maybe.
So anyway, all right, so let's move on. So 2017 predictions.
Yeah, we're going to talk about movies and TV shows since that's what we mainly focus on. Of course, our big focus will be the comic book stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started then. Let's do this. Let's get the ball
do this.
rolling. Do you want to just go down the list, or should we do it in a different order?
Oh, we can do it in a different order. First and foremost, let's Let's talk about what we're both. All three of us are looking forward to the most. What one movie, what one TV show we're really pumped up for that, bad or good.
That wasn't on the list.
Yes, it is.
It kind of is the second one down there.
Yeah, so suck it.
Oh, what do I think will be my best or favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I'm looking most forward to because I have a feeling that one's going to disappoint me.
Oh. Then Ryan, you go.
I mean, I'm going to steal yours, so you should probably go ahead and go. Because I'm
Are we
pretty
both
confident I know
Wonder
it.
Woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
For sure.
Actually, that was mine too.
All right, so why are you guys looking forward to Wonder Woman the most?
Well, it's not the same reason as you, for sure. Like,
Probably not.
The character doesn't mean as much to me as it does to you. I'm really excited to...
Batman doesn't mean a lot to me like it does to you.
That's
so,
fair.
It happens.
For me, it's just I'm really excited to see... It's going to sound super cliche because everybody's saying it now, but a female-led superhero movie, simply because Marvel has had, 18 movies or some ridiculous number like that, and still has yet to do it. The DCEU is paving new ground with it. They have a female director, and, I mean, that alone had me pretty excited, but then when the trailers came out, it was unbelievable. For somebody that
they're gorgeous.
isn't a huge Wonder Woman fan, it was beautiful, and you could tell that there was love and for the character put into that movie, and you don't really see that a lot. Especially you don't get that feeling from trailers a lot. So that pretty much sold me right there.
Well, from the beginning, I feel like everything on this production went right as everything went. They revealed casting members. People were excited about it. They asked a female director. It was never in their head, hey, let's get a male to do this. So from start to finish, I figure that they all really put, like you said, a lot of love behind the production of it. And
I do think they did a good job giving her a bit of a springboard because I think we can all agree she's probably the best part of BVS.
Mm-hmm. She's definitely the one part that's not tainted
right?
in the movie.
I mean, everything from her look, her style, her mannerisms, the way she carried herself, her score.
Pretty much everyone that hated that movie had nothing negative to say about Wonder Woman, except maybe there wasn't enough of her in it.
That's fair. I think that's very fair. I would have loved to have seen more of her in that movie. So.
But then it just would have been the Trinity.
Yeah, it would have just been a Trinity movie.
And I'm fine with that.
I mean, I'm
down.
It's a little early for a Trinity movie. I think you can't just jump right into that. I think each character has enough history that you have to give them some backstory.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Batman, so that's one thing. But Wonder Woman hasn't really been done in a motion picture before.
No, I mean, here's the coolest part. There have been, 7 or 8 different actors to play Batman on screen, 4 or 5 to play Superman. This is the second Wonder Woman.
Yeah, live action.
Third, if you count Adrian Palicki's terrible Wonder Woman pilot.
I never actually saw the pilot since it wasn't greenlit, so the NBC show.
The pilot wasn't great, but I thought the costume was really cool. That was the best part. And Adrian Palicki's really good.
On the most was the costume, but
I don't get it.
I liked it.
I heard that she was by far not the problem.
No, she's good. She was good in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. I never really saw her in anything except those 2 things, and I liked her. So
I'm glad that she was able to find something because I didn't think that she was the problem with it. But...
So. Yeah, and that's awesome. Mockingbird's great. Anyway.
Sometimes you have to find a different character like Brandon Roth. I love the guy. Superman wasn't quite the right fit. I think he's a much better Adam.
No, but Todd and Scott Pilgrim versus the World was a pretty good fit.
That's a good fit too. Yeah, that's a good fit too. I did have...
That was that didn't take much because we all agreed on that one. That was very weird.
Well, I had a really close second that I'm really excited about, and it's actually Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
I'm so nervous about that one, and it's because it never works, in my opinion, when they cross the ocean, I guess. When the sequel goes to another continent, then I feel like, it
worked for Fantastic Beasts. I mean, being in America, if you have any problems with that movie, being in America was not the problem with that movie.
No, you're right about that one. I'm a little leery, that's all. I mean, the cast, I know everybody loves Channing Tatum. I know, but I don't see what people love about him.
Watch White House Down and tell me you don't love it.
Watch 21 Jump Street.
Get off White House Down.
It's a great homage to 80s action films.
It's done. And nobody pronounces the H in homage.
Yeah, it's just Derek. That's a weird thing you just did. And now it's recorded forever for the internet.
I'm sure I've said it before. I'm okay with it. I also say Gaz.
And Darkseid, do you
Oh,
remember
yeah.
Darkseid?
That was great.
Anyhow, I'm just nervous about it. I'm still going to see it, and it's probably going to be better than some of the other movies this year, but I'm nervous.
So in our live chat, we record these live on Twitch every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central. Its Mother Uckers is saying that Torchwood did not work in America. So I've never actually seen Torchwood personally, but I'm going to take her word for it.
Her word.
That was good. That was a good one. I like that. Anyway, all right. So let's move on.
All right. TV shows. What TV shows are you looking forward to the most, guys? There's a lot of new cool ones being adapted.
I also have two for this one because the one that should be number one, Star Trek Discovery, is just really... I'm so anxious about it at this point because it's been delayed once already. Brian Fuller had to step back.
They're still casting. Like,
They're
what
still
the
casting.
hell?
The show is supposed to come out in May, and they
Yeah,
haven't even cast everybody yet.
That's
So
not happening.
I'm just really the show that I should be looking forward to the most. I just can't. So for me, looking forward to new show in 2017 is actually Powerless.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for
That
Powerless.
was on my list too. I did 2 on everything, pretty much just an alternate in case one of you guys picked that one.
that's
Another one.
nice.
But yeah, Powerless was my second.
Yeah, it just sounds like a lot of fun. I like the idea.
Casting is really good.
Yes.
Kristen Shaw, I think, is in it.
And Katie...
Kate McCucci.
yeah.
That's who it was. Wendy Harris. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know about that until I looked it up on...
I love her.
yeah,
I think she's
and
great.
everything.
So.
And you got...
Alan Tudyk.
I know.
Alan Tudyk, you got Danny Pudi, you got Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah.
There's some good talent there. I think that potentially could be a really great or a really terrible show.
Definitely.
But that comes out like February 3rd, so it's
Yeah,
not
it's
that
really
far
soon.
off.
Yeah. Which is really exciting because they're ready to do this.
In the next few weeks, we have Riverdale starting, Powerless, and Legion.
Yeah, Legion. I'm having a hard time getting excited about. I'm not even sure why, to be totally fair.
Well, I'm just curious how it's gonna. That one's not my most important to, but I'm kind of curious how that's gonna fit into that's part of the MCU, right?
No, it's
No, it's
part of
Fox.
the Fox X-Men.
But it's produced by Marvel Studios.
Well, Marvel,
In the same partnership that the Fox
Okay,
movies
that
are
is-
Marvel
okay.
movies.
Yeah.
It's still mutants and X-Men type characters.
See, I thought I
so-
read something saying that it was Xavier's son, but it was controlled by Marvel Studios, so people weren't sure how it was actually going to
They might have had to make a deal, but it's in the
Yeah.
Fox universe.
I am looking forward to that one. It's just not my top.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm going to see how it goes because Legion's a very interesting character. He's incredibly powerful. He has over 1,000 different personalities locked in his head, and each one of them has a different power. So it technically makes him the most powerful mutant and most likely the most powerful super being in the Marvel universe. That's the combined comic one, not the separated shit one. We have check that marker so you can so it makes him very powerful, and I don't know how they're going to handle that, but right now they have completely new characters surrounding it as opposed to
You mean like they're not using a lot of canon characters?
yeah, so in obviously I don't think Patrick Stewart's going to be appearing in this
Right.
anytime soon.
Seems unlikely.
So the dad thing might be out, but his girlfriend is a mutant named Blindfold, and she's not cast. And
They might bring her in later or something
maybe
like that.
I don't know. So we'll see.
I think for me, a lot of it there's just not a lot of hype around it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's called Legion, but if nobody had just come out and told me, well, it's X-Men characters, I'm not sure that I instinctively would have known that it's...
No, but the trailer looks very
You know?
interesting. So
Yeah, it
I
does.
feel like if you whether or not you know it's an X-Men related movie or show, excuse me, I feel like the trailer looked interesting enough to pull people in. So I think they're not really banking hard on the Marvel connection on that.
I think you're totally right. But I think that's just why I'm not like super stoked for it. That's all.
That's completely fair.
Yeah.
Riverdale has kind of piqued my interest. It is the universe of Archie, and while I have enjoyed Archie stuff in the past, Sabrina the Teenage Witch was a fun TV show for me. I loved the Josie and the Pussycats movie. I've never seen, it's a dark and gritty version, and I know people are gonna roll their eyes at that, but the comic launched a new dark and gritty comic. It's more realistic to teenagers last year, and Archie has not seen such good sales since about the 70s. So.
Is this the show that Molly Ringwald got cast in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So I might watch the
makes
first
me a
couple.
little more interested in it.
I might watch the first couple episodes, see how it goes.
Sure.
You know.
Is that the one you're most looking forward to?
It is not. Emerald City is. Tarsem Singh is one of my favorite directors.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio is in it. It's a very multicultural, diverse cast so far. It's the premise is incredibly interesting, where she goes back to Emerald City as an adult, which I haven't always liked in the past. Of course, that's not a new take on Wizard of Oz at all, but being as though Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time, I'm going to give it a chance, and I'm really, like, the trailer looks beautiful, so at least it'll be pretty. I know that everything's already filmed, so I'm going to end up seeing the first season, which is 13 episodes. Anyway, There's not a chance that they're going to cut it off, so at least I've got that.
I am shocked that none of us picked any of the...
I haven't talked about what I picked.
Oh, I thought you did. I'm sorry. I thought it was Powerless.
No.
Oh.
That was my second.
Okay, well then, sorry.
Somebody picked my first
He was
pick.
agreeing with you.
My mistake.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with you.
So go ahead
Well, mine is Inhumans, which we don't know anything about really at this point, but when you go to the Inhumans official Facebook page for the TV show, it has the royal family as the cover
nice.
photo, so that makes me more excited because it's going to be Black Bolt and Medusa and, you know, all the...
Crystal.
all the classic Inhumans characters that, you know, we thought was going to be a movie, but now it's a TV show, and
I'm
the TV
actually
show's going to be
okay
an
with that.
IMAX for the first few episodes. They're releasing, I think, the first
That's interesting.
2 episodes into IMAX theaters.
I mean, Game of Thrones did that for a couple of big episodes. It was pretty cool. I saw the big the Battle of the
And this
Wall.
is Marvel,
that was pretty
MCU
awesome.
stuff, like,
Right.
You know, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot to talk about because they haven't said any information, casting, or anything like that.
I imagine with the Inhumans plot on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there will be a lot of room for crossovers.
I imagine there's going to be definitely some crossovers, and that's part of the reason why I'm looking forward to is because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started getting good when they introduced the Inhuman and the whole Terrigenesis storyline and all that stuff. So that pumps me up for it.
Is it supposed to be on ABC as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on ABC.
So then my surprise is still there, though. None of us picked any of the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
No Iron Fist, no
I wasn't really
Defenders.
thinking cable. I was thinking more cable TV than I was Netflix, to be
I
honest, because
agree.
I would have probably picked Iron Fist or Punisher.
Truth.
I expected you to pick Punisher, to be honest.
Truth is, I'm of course pumped up for Iron Fist. I like that. You know.
The thing is, we know those are all going to be good, so you know,
If there's
I'm
a
kind of banking
Netflix
on
show I'm looking forward to, it's Lemony Snicket.
I forgot about that one. It totally
that
slipped my
comes on in a
mind.
week.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed the movie, and I was sad that the rest of the books never got adapted. So I'm looking forward to this.
I love Neil Patrick Harris so much, so I'm going to definitely watch that. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to another 2017 prediction.
Dun dun dun.
Do you have one in mind? Or do you want me to pick? I'll just pick one then.
You pick.
All right, let's go with an easy one here. What movie do you think will make the most money?
We're all going to know it.
In 2017.
It's not a question.
Like I picked 3. They're all owned by Disney.
So did I actually.
Yeah. I mean, we all know what the biggest one is going to be. There's not any question or challenge to that.
It's going to be episode 8.
Yeah, for
Star
sure.
Wars, yeah.
I mean, whether it'll make that the most money in 2017 as a calendar year is
Considering
debatable.
it comes on.
I was
out in
going to take just
December.
release date because
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into an argument where, well, Rogue One will technically be, right? It came out in 2016. Episode 8 comes out in 2017. So we
I think opening weekend, the box office numbers will be the highest. I think the
I think it'll beat
closest.
7.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it easily will.
I don't think it'll be easy, but I think it'll beat 7.
I mean, Rogue One, which doesn't have the big main story, got second place in 2016, only being in theaters for like 2.5 weeks.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that it's gonna be beat everything else that comes out that year. I'm saying it's going to beat the opening weekend of episode 7, which was a huge opening weekend.
It was, but I think
the
that
record opening weekend, I'm pretty sure, the thing made $2 billion
so.
over the entire run, so it's a lot of money.
I also picked Beauty and the Beast and Spider-Man. I think they're going to be second and third because...
Really?
Yeah. I think Beauty and the Beast is going to kill a lot of records during that month.
I actually disagree with both of those. I picked 3 that I thought would be top 3 because episode 8 it's a given.
Yeah.
It's not really fun to talk about that as much in this context.
I just feel like so many fanboys have been waiting for Spider-Man.
There are a lot, but I don't think it's as many as are going to go see Justice League. I think Justice League this is hinging on Wonder Woman being good. I'm going to say that right out. If Wonder Woman is bad, Justice League won't be in the top 3. But
so what I worry about with DC is that 2016 was such a we hate DC, we hate Rotten Tomatoes, we hate everybody involved in the process that people are like Wonder Woman and Justice League will be at least mediocre to good films, but people won't care. They won't go see them. That's what I worry about.
Well,
I think if Wonder Woman is really good, it's going to build hype and Justice, because that'll be a slow burn. It'll be the people in the first weekend will be the fans, and they'll be like, guys, this is actually really good, and then other people will go see it, and then it'll pick up steam. Leading into Justice League. That's my prediction if Wonder Woman's good. And then I also put Despicable Me 3 on there because Minions make a butt ton of money.
I know.
And it's huge worldwide, and I know it's not a movie that we would probably go see in theaters, but it's going to make a whole bunch of money.
You're totally right on that.
It's a fair point. I put Spider-Man on my top 3 as well because of just the sheer reaction to him in Civil War.
Yeah.
I think Civil War has made more money than what Spider-Man will make.
Interesting.
That's my prediction.
I mean, I'm cool with that. It makes sense logically to me because we've had so many Spider-Man movies. But at the same time, just from the sheer excitement of him being in Civil War was so huge.
Monkeys.
The screaming howler.
Beyond that, I mean, that was obnoxious, right? But still, normal, nice human beings were incredibly excited about Spider-Man being in this movie.
You're a comic book fan. You're excited for the Spider-Man movie, right? No. You're a comic book fan. You're excited for the Spider-Man movie,
I'm not the average Marvel fan.
What I'm saying is those average fans have all seen 30 different Spider-Man already, so they're not going to be like... The initial seeing Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe, I think, was bigger than Spider-Man having his own movie.
You might be right.
Totally fair.
I did also have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 because I think that the first one did very well, and I think that the hype for it has increased over time, and the whole Baby Groot thing, they may claim up and down, and it may be true that they're not doing that as any type of little gimmick, but it's going to work like it is one, whether that's true or not.
That would be my prediction for the Marvel movie that's going to make the most money.
Oh, yeah.
Personally.
I think that's true.
That's the only one I think that'll probably crack the top 5
really?
for the year, yeah.
Okay.
Thor, people are kind of burnt out on the movies now.
The first 2 weren't great. They were some of the worst of the MCU.
I agree with that. Thor, it needs what it's bringing right now. The promise of the very first MCU female villain to be like the main villain
Other than Netflix.
Right. Other than Netflix.
In movies.
After 15 movies, we're getting
a
female villain now because maybe they can make a toy off of her, they think. They're not sure.
Not likely.
But I mean, Hulk is in it.
Hulk is the big
And
guy.
Doctor Strange was just revealed to be in it.
They're
It's gonna be a
teasing
glorified cameo,
teasing
but-
Planet
Totally
Hulk. They're teasing Planet Hulk quite a bit, which I think will bring in a lot of people.
And I think it's because they want to tease it as much as possible because right now they're still working on a deal with Universal.
Yeah.
Yet.
No, I
fanboys
get
have been
it.
clamoring for World War Hulk ever since the first Incredible Hulk movie came out. They've been, we want to see World War Hulk, blah, 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 and ever since the MCU existed. So they know they're going to make money on that.
So I feel like between having Hulk in there, Doctor Strange, teasing Planet Hulk, having the female villain, not having Thor in Civil War, I think people might be more interested to see this one because it's different.
It'll do the worst of the 3 Marvel movies coming out this year, I think.
Probably.
You think so?
I think that's a pretty safe assumption. Because, Iron Man is in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's
a
they
pretty big
also
draw.
come
So-
out in better months for film.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a
Thor's
good point.
coming out in November, and you think about it every year. You get maybe 2 good movies in November, maybe.
Well, traditionally, December's a dead month for movies too, and Star Wars has completely flipped that. So you never know.
Well, Lord of the Rings did too. I mean, if you get something big enough, nobody wants to come close. Nobody wants to release it around a Star Wars movie now. Disney can own December for the next 5 years.
If they want to.
Yeah,
like
if they want
20
to.
years.
Well,
As
with
long
the
as it's
planned
printing
films.
money,
Yeah, with the planned films that they have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's not forget that Thor has a little bit of competition in November because Justice League comes out in November.
That is very true.
So you'll have 2 big movies in November, which doesn't happen a whole lot. I mean, this year we had Moana and we had Fantastic Beasts, and that was
And
it.
they were
Neither of
big
those are
movies, but-
either one of those is as big as Justice League or
Or another MCU film, you know. So to have 2 of those in November, I think, is a big deal. I'll be curious to see how they play off each other because I think they come out a week apart from each other,
Right.
if I remember right.
That's gonna be weird.
So yeah, so that'll be interesting. Now I do want to move on to what animated film do you think will do best? Because Ryan, you mentioned Despicable Me 3, so is that your pick?
Well, let me see. That was my pick for most money. Yeah, I had one other as an alternate that one of you guys will probably pick, but we'll see.
Cars 3?
Nope.
No,
Oh.
I picked.
I figure Disney's or Pixar's B and C material prints money now. I mean,
It'll do very well.
Finding
Yeah,
Dory,
but it's not going to be the top.
Finding Dory was not a good movie. It was not. I am sorry. It's not a good movie. But it made
But you have
huge
to
amount of
remember
money.
that it's a sequel to a really good movie, whereas Cars 3 is a sequel
To a
to
not
probably the worst
It's the
Pixar
worst
movie by
Pixar
a
movie.
lot.
And we're not the
And the
only ones
teaser
who
was really
vote that.
intriguing.
The teaser is very interesting. So when we get the trailer next week, my opinion may change.
I don't think it'll be the best. I think it might do the best though.
No.
I think it's going to be Lego Batman.
I think that was my alternate. Was Lego Batman.
That's
I think that
interesting.
that and Despicable
And Minions,
Me
yeah.
are going
Or
to be
Despicable Me,
the
sorry.
biggest two. I think that one's going to make a ton of money.
Yeah, the
but I don't
three
think
of
it's gonna
those
make as
movies
much.
could completely destroy most of the other films we're going to be interested in
Probably.
seeing.
I mean, it's one of those things where,
Box
Thor
office.
Ragnarok may be the worst financially of the MCU movies in 2017. It'll still make $400 and some million domestically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're not,
more than that probably.
so we're not talking about them bombing. We're just talking,
Right, of course.
So I think Despicable Me 3, the only reason I think Lego Batman might beat it out is it is the third movie.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas this is basically a sequel to the Lego movie in a way. That just exploded and was so much more well received than I ever imagined. Even for myself, I love that movie.
Except that you're forgetting all the things on Facebook that were Minions and everything else after the Minions movie. The Lego movie never had that kind of hype. I mean, it was good and there was a lot of stuff happening, but people were changing their profile pictures to Minions. People were sharing Minion memes. They still share Minion memes. I don't like that. I don't agree with that. If you're doing that, you need to look back on your life and figure out where you went wrong. But it's going to make a lot of money, and that's why I think it's going to be the biggest. It's just such a phenomenon that it's going to win. I mean,
there is the advantage that Lego Batman has, which it's a February release, and there's basally nothing for it to compete against.
that's fair too, but
Versus the summer, where there's a ton of movies.
It is not a rated R film, and the past two Februarys did really well with rated R films.
Right, but it's winter time, and the kids need to do stuff that isn't outside, so you can take them to the movies. And I think it's important that we have good movies year round. This whole concept that the summer is really only for the good movies, I think is something of the past now.
Yeah.
I think that obviously Star Wars shows that that's not true, but I think the first Kingsman movie and Deadpool both show that that's not true of adult films. I think that Lego Batman will show that that's not true for kids films. So
I don't disagree. I mean, didn't Batman v Superman come out in March? And
It did.
It
Yeah.
wasn't well received.
Yeah.
It still made a lot of
It
money.
still made $900 million, right? So we're still talking about large chunks of money, All right, who wants to pick the next one?
Sure, I'll pick one. Let's see. What will be the worst comic book movie of the year?
I have a feeling I'm going to fight tooth and nail to defend Thor and
You would be wrong.
Justice League.
I picked
But I feel like those are going to be the ones harshly criticized out of all of them.
I was nervous mine might not count. I picked Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell counts. It was a manga.
So that's why I picked it. I was tempted to pick Kingsman, but it's a sequel to a graphic novel. There isn't a sequel graphic novel that I'm aware of. So it's new material. So it's not really I mean, I don't know. That's kind of splitting hairs maybe, but I'm going to say Ghost in the Shell because I think that it's a movie I'm really excited about, but it's a weird looking sci-fi film.
And from the beginning, it's been pretty hated by fans.
And look at when it's coming out. You've got Power Rangers and Beauty and the Beast and Kong basically all at the same time with that movie in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to get lost. I mean, we have to try and find time to see that movie.
And it's not at the highest of any of our priority list.
It's true.
Even if we were big Ghost in the Shell fans, I still don't think it'd be the highest priority in our list when there's an already great anime and book series out there.
I love that kind of sci-fi. I'm a huge Scarlett Johansson fan, especially her solo films. Like I really liked Lucy quite a bit, as silly as the premise is. But yeah, we have to find time and money to go see this movie. I think most people are just going to skip it.
You're probably right. I didn't really go on box office gross so much as I felt. Because, I mean, worst is a relative term.
It is.
That's fair.
I more was thinking about movies that I think were going to be not necessarily as well received from a critical level than from a box office. Because we all know that there's a lot of bad movies that make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Transformers and Ninja Turtles and, all those other movies.
Yeah, you're totally right.
So I picked Justice League, and I also had Lego Batman on there just because.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Lego Batman is gonna be a good movie, but I think that it's gonna make a ton of money. And it's Justice League. I don't want it to be a bad movie, and I really don't want it to be bad. Like, really, I promise, I really like DC stuff, and I really like Batman, and I really like the Justice League, but. It kind of hinges again on Wonder Woman. Like, if that movie doesn't do well and gets poorly received, then there's going to be a lot of people that probably skip out on Justice League, and it probably rightfully so. Zack Snyder has screwed up some things that are pretty core to what DC fans see as paramount to characters, and I think that he could do that again.
I'm just surprised at the Lego Batman part.
Oh, really?
Because it's a kid's movie, and I think that from that perspective, it'll be successful on what it's supposed to be.
Oh, I'm not saying it won't be successful.
No, I just meant from a quality perspective, I expect it to be on par with the Lego movie, and the Lego movie's nothing brilliant, right? But it's a great kids film.
Yeah, if you want to talk about what I think is going to be the worst animated film, it's got to be the Talking Baby one with Alec Baldwin.
That movie looks
I think it looks funny.
Oh, no.
Of course.
I think it looks funny.
Of course.
I mean, it's going to not be good. But we are talking about worst comic book movie, not worst animated feature
right.
featuring Alec Baldwin.
I can't believe we have to have that sentence in existence.
Yeah.
But, what about you, Ray? Are you picking Thor? Is that...
I feel like that's I picked Thor and Justice League because historically they're the kind of movies that Thor just doesn't have a great ranking in
that would have been.
in
I mean, that's up there for me too.
Right now, and
I want them all to be good. That's my problem. It was so hard to pick one that's going to be bad.
I feel like that I'm going to like both Thor and Justice League.
But that doesn't mean they're good.
Right. I completely agree with that. I've had to step back because I want to like DC stuff so much, but from the beginning they've gone in a different direction than I ever saw the DC.
Yeah, you hated Man of Steel until Batman v Superman came out, and then it got a little bit better for you.
A little bit, yeah. So I feel like I will personally enjoy the movies. I think I can objectively say that they're going to be, they run the risk of being received the poorest.
Yeah. So then in that case, let's look at the flip side of that. Which one do you think will be the best?
I feel like everybody will just completely go nuts over Spider-Man. It doesn't matter what happens in that film. I think everybody will just love it.
See, I can't be on board with that because people hate Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. They've never pulled their punches from Spider-Man movies. I don't think this will be an exception.
Okay.
I really don't. For me, I actually picked Guardians. I think Guardians will be the one that people walk away from being the happiest with.
That was my second choice.
I like
Guardians.
That. Yeah.
Because it's a space opera, but it's a fun space opera.
James Gunn, I mean, he's really good. So.
He's great, and I mean, the cast is just a fun cast. You've got Chris Pratt, and you got Zoe Saldana, and it's a fun
Russell.
Group. Kurt Russell's in it.
Way to leave him out.
I didn't even say Bautista, and
we didn't even mention Jeff Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok. I mean, that's
No.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that. I totally forgot.
It's
a lot of people have, unfortunately.
well, they haven't really advertised
No,
it.
they
Yeah.
haven't.
I feel like we're gonna know more about Thor once the first teaser trailer comes out.
Sure.
But,
I'm surprised one hasn't already.
well, because they have 2 more movies before it. They're trying to space it out a bit.
I put Wonder Woman for what I think is
Yeah.
going to be the best one.
I do too.
That's only for me. That's what I'm hoping is the best one, and
I agree.
it might not be. But
Like the truth is, if it's not, it's gonna be another 5-6 years before I see a female-led movie from either of these.
Captain
companies.
Marvel in 2019.
Well, yeah, they're not backing that out. They're not.
No,
They're
they've
locked
already
into
cast
that.
it. I mean, even if they
It's
canceled her
just
movie, she's still going to
disappointing.
exist in the universe. But
I mean, yeah.
I think that the tough part about Wonder Woman is that it's also kind of a war movie. It's mostly going to take place during wartime type stuff. And those movies are difficult to have people really walk away from excited about the movie. It has a very serious tone. And it's in a year where Spider-Man is bright and happy and Guardians is bright and happy. And I think that, Justice League may be brighter than BVS, but it's not going to be a bright, happy movie either. So I think that that's going to bring it down for a lot of people. I like serious superhero movies and I like bright superhero movies. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's amazing. But I also really like the edgier stuff like Watchmen. So I think that a lot of people are going to walk away from Wonder Woman just like, yeah, it was good. And that's, but...
Unfortunately, that's probably true, but I'm hoping it's the best.
Either way, we're gonna have podcasts on just about all of these.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do another one that I think we're going to argue about.
Okay.
What blockbuster do you think will bomb?
Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Men
That was
Tell
my
No
second
Tales.
I think that's
Those
going to
are
be
good
the
ones.
Alice 2 of this summer.
It's going to be the what?
The Alice in Wonderland 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I think that's a really good comparison. I think that's exactly what it'll be.
Well, I mean, they've progressively made more money every year, but I don't think this one's going to. I just feel like people are pretty well set with what has happened in Pirates of the Caribbean. They don't need any
We're
more.
good.
And they're not showing Johnny Depp
Forgettable.
in the first trailer, and I can't decide if they're not showing him because they think that'll gain interest, or they're not
because
showing him
he had
'cause-
controversy around him, and they're trying to let that back off a little bit before
Exactly.
they show him, probably.
Yeah. So
Don't forget, he hit his wife,
yeah.
who is Mira now.
So I picked Power Rangers. I think it is going to be
Yeah.
a bad movie, and I feel bad for Power Rangers fans right now because
Aw.
the trailer I've seen makes it look like Chronicle, generic superhero movie number 4. Actually, Chronicle was good, so
Chronicle was great.
I'm going to, that's kind of
It
insulting to
launched
Chronicle.
Michael B. Jordan's career and Dane DeHaan.
And the director, whatever his name is, I forget his name, but I really like, and writer.
Joshua Trank.
No, gosh, he's got like the side haircut thing, and he's always on movie fights. I don't know. I don't remember his name, but he's great. I follow his YouTube channel. Anyway,
Okay.
I think that movie looks like a poor version of that. It isn't the Power Rangers that I used to watch. Power Rangers as a kid. I wouldn't consider myself a huge fan, but the Power Rangers that I saw didn't magically gain martial arts powers when they picked up these random stones from an asteroid.
No, they got stronger when they wore the suit. They were already
Right,
like,
they couldn't break sinks
By accident.
Yeah, by accident. So I do genuinely feel bad for Power Rangers fans right now. I hope the movie is good for their sake, but I don't think it's gonna be. And I
Here's
think
the
it's
thing
gonna bomb.
about Power Rangers. I know automatically that it's not going to be a great movie. I know that.
We all know it's not going to be a great movie just based on that trailer. I mean,
But
no way.
I have a feeling I'm going to love it no matter what.
So you're going to be the BVS Derek of Power Rangers.
No,
I will not defend it tooth and nail. I'm just going to flat out say, I know I'm going to enjoy it. I know the rest of the world will not, but let me have my moment because I want to see the Breakfast Club meet.
Well, you'll have your moment.
Wolverine.
You'll have your moment until we do the podcast over it, and I do my best to rip it
crush
apart.
my dreams. Yeah.
So the reason that one didn't make my list was that I didn't feel like it garnered enough attention to be considered a bomb.
Maybe.
Well, not making money
But,
and not getting
yeah.
attention is a bomb.
No, I
Not
know,
making
but,
back
like-
your budget is
Yeah.
a bomb.
I agree, but I think that the it's not quite high profile enough for how bad some other movies are going to do, like Pirates of the Caribbean, I think is going to be
I agree. That
worse
was on my
proportionally.
list,
That's not on.
I think Power Rangers is more anticipated, has a larger fan base going in, and a larger rabid fan base of people that have been waiting for this movie. Pirates of the Caribbean has the soccer moms that want to go see Johnny Depp,
Right.
and the kids that are like.
But that's why
Captain Jack
I think people will go see the Power Rangers movie. Kind of like BVS made $900 million, even though so many people hated it, because people still went to see it, and then they found out they didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think Power Rangers will be like that. It'll make a lot of money, not superhero level money, but it'll make a lot of money, and then people will walk away from it unhappy.
I think the difference is this is a new franchise that they want to boot. They want to be sure they have multiple movies, and they can bring in at least the first 2, maybe 3 iterations of the cast, and as opposed to Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a petering fandom.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still shocked
it's
that
lost its steam. Like the last time we had a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, it was like what 2011, 2012.
Has it been that long?
4
It's been a
came
little
out.
while, yeah.
So I think it's my fear. Like you don't put a sequel out years later. It's rarely good. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do
Yeah.
it. So this is Javier Bardem looks crazy and creepy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. I thought the effect was really cool.
Right. But other than that, the whole thing kind of looks like a repeat of the first movie. So.
I just think Power Rangers fan base is, the hardcore fans are not kids anymore. They're going to go see it.
Sure.
And the money is in the kids. And the kids are still going to probably go see Pirates of the Caribbean. We'll see. With their soccer moms that want to see Johnny Depp. But I think that kids are not interested in this Power Rangers movie. And the only people that are going to go see it are the fans. And then they're going to go see it and go, this was not the Power Rangers that I like.
I think they're both going to bomb for 2 different reasons. One, I think the fandom for Power Rangers is going to get their hopes and expectations up too high. And I think Pirates of the Caribbean is just going to have like a very lackluster showing. Like
They're both not going to do well, I don't think.
But I think in defense of Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't think it'll have as much to do with quality. I think people are just not interested.
Yeah.
You know, the second Alice in Wonderland movie may have been good. I don't know, because I had no interest in seeing that movie. Yeah,
that's the way I feel about Pirates of the Caribbean and Power Rangers. But because we're probably going to review Power Rangers, I'll end up seeing it.
But the difference is
I'm going to not like going to see it. I'm going to be like, you guys, jerks. I'll make you guys buy my ticket.
All right, so let's switch gears back to TV for a bit, because we've been talking a lot about movies. So what, we did that one. What TV show, what TV show do you think will be canceled before the end of 2017?
I think Powerless will be.
Yeah, you think it's going to be a half season and done?
What network is it coming out on? I don't remember.
I think it's NBC.
I think it is. Yeah, NBC. Powerless is NBC.
So NBC has the Fox syndrome where they put a show on in a really bad time slot that they don't have any faith in, and no matter what, like you just can't save it from that because
Isn't that the one Constantine was on that got canceled
and
too?
Dracula the year before. Both damn good shows. Great casting, great story writing, everything was good. But it was put on Friday night at 9 o'clock, right after Shark Tank. Bad choices. So
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what time slot Powerless is in, but I just feel like NBC is not going to.
It's Thursday nights, actually.
Okay.
So
That's
it's
a
Thursday
little
nights
bit
at 8,
better.
I believe. Thursday nights at 8 Eastern
That used
or
to be
8
their
Central.
big comedy block. That's
So-
when they had Parks and Rec.
And it is a
and
comedy.
Scrubs.
So
Yeah, it's supposed to
You're
be
right.
Parks and Rec or The Office with superheroes.
I think it'll do okay. I don't think NBC's trying to kill that one. But I will say this, just from a personal perspective, I still find it odd that in now 2017 with DVRs and streaming services being so available, that time slot still matters a lot
It
to the
does.
average viewer. Because if there's something you want to watch, you can stream it or you can DVR it a lot of the time. And I know not everybody has those things, but I think that a lot more of them do now than they did 15 years ago, obviously. And so I just, what killed the X-Files, I find it odd that still kills a show today. That's all.
It's really weird that it still does.
Yeah.
But it does.
Yeah. I'm not denying that it does. I just think it's interesting. So for me, I did pick a DC series, though. I actually picked Gotham. Its
Which
ratings,
you don't watch.
which I don't
Really
watch,
hyping up.
but I looked at stats. I only wanted to look at stats because I didn't want to be biased. And it's down. Its viewership is down almost 20% this season from last year, and almost 750,000 viewers fewer
That is a Fox
this year.
death wish.
And so I just don't think it'll be able to get past that. If it stays down 20%, I don't think it's getting season 4. I just
Sleepy
don't.
Hollow's probably
Something to keep in mind is that they've been teasing on their social media big time that Joker is coming back. The Jerome, which is one of the most well-received characters, possibly the only well-received character in Gotham by the majority of the fan base, even people that don't really like the show otherwise. So
Jerome
that's going to be a big boost in ratings.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's smart of them to do that because I don't think Fox wants to cancel it. And which is why I think having the Joker come back is a smart move from a studio perspective. But I just think if he doesn't save the numbers, if these numbers stay where they are today, I don't see how they could give it.
They have a gem in him, and if he can carry it, then we'll see.
Right. Yeah, and maybe he will. I'm just going off of what we have right now.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. I picked. I probably should have picked Legends of Tomorrow, but I don't know if that's going to get canceled this year. I think it's going to get canceled probably after season 3. We'll see. It depends on how this year finishes out. But I picked Fear the Walking Dead. It's so.
I thought that was already canceled.
No,
so
they just had seasons. They had season 2 that ended right before The Walking Dead started up. It's just not as good as The Walking Dead, and they may not cancel it simply because Walking Dead is like printing money at this point. Everybody's watching it, except for you guys, I guess. But it's so. I mean, I don't know. The ratings have been dropping some on The Walking Dead, and I think that if that trend continues, then Fear the Walking Dead will have even less interest. The only reason why I watch Fear the Walking Dead is because it's something to watch until Walking Dead comes on, and it may eventually tie in. Beyond that, there's very few characters that are really interesting to me at this point on the show, and I think it's going to be canned before too long.
That's fair. I honestly I knew it had 2 seasons, but I thought that they had said they were not going to give it a season 3 already. So
if they did, I did not know that. But
and maybe it was just some speculation that I had read.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
I'd be okay with that. As much as it gets me through the lull until Walking Dead starts up again, it isn't good.
Yeah, spinoffs are tough. So let's then go on the other side of that. Then, what do you think? What do you think will be will get a surprise renewal? What show do you think should be canceled or is on the verge of getting canceled that you think is going to get saved?
So
what's the Chuck of 2017?
I say American Gods, and I say this because of how quickly Starz has renewed Black Sails and Ash vs. Evil Dead, and I say American Gods because they are doing the entire book in a TV series already, but rumor has it that Neil Gaiman and the actors are having so much fun that they're already talking like spin-offs and sequels and all kinds of whispers about who gets to come back and who's gonna die. And so I feel like even though there's only one book and a loosely tied in second book, American Gods will get a weird second season. Kind of like Kingsman and Kick-Ass.
Fair enough. Ryan?
So I don't know how surprising the one I'm picking is, but I picked Arrow because Arrow was a show that when they started it, they said they had a 5-season plan, and he had spent 5 years on a hellish island, and that they were going to do a year of flashbacks every year.
Right.
I think that with the CW/DC universe that they have going, that it's getting them a lot of views. And while Arrow is probably the worst of the shows, arguably, I think Legends is a little worse this season, but it is going to get another season, I think. And I don't know how they're going to handle flashbacks and things like that. This season, they've kind of been doing flashbacks to things that happened in the first season, just alternate takes on things that happened in the first season, which I think is kind of cool, and I'd be okay with that.
And the producers have talked a little bit about it. If they got a season 6, that they would continue to do something like a flashback. And they were kind of vague about it, but
they could do flashbacks for there's a lot more of other interesting characters in Arrow right now. And
could also do some fun flash forwards. One of my favorite
I'd love them to do a flash forward to like him with like the goatee
How
and
cool
the
would that
mustache
be?
and everything.
One of my
They won't do
favorite
that.
parts
Great.
of Legends of Tomorrow was the episode in
The future.
season 1 where they were in the future of Star City.
And that's
that was cool. I'd like to see how he lost his arm.
Right.
You know, that would have been an
yeah, because that's
thing.
a Connor thing. So
that was weird.
It's interesting.
I want Deathstroke to cut it off, but we know Deathstroke won't be there.
Well, Manny Bennett won't.
Deathstroke
might.
The costume might make an appearance.
So for me, I'm actually picking Legends of Tomorrow. I think it's the weakest of the DC shows, as much as it's fun, and I like the actors.
You were really excited about that show too, so that must pain you to say.
It's just, I mean...
It's the least interesting
It's the least
right
interesting,
now,
and
sure.
when you use time travel all the time, it loses its charm and its power.
I think that they should you're probably right, they should cancel Legends of Tomorrow, but they should bring back or do some other franchise show that's focused around the Justice Society of America or something along those lines that's less time travel-y, just more like period superhero.
You can save some of the characters. I mean, if you want to give Adam his own show, I think that with the right cast around him, it would be good.
No, I think you should take the cast that you have and rebrand it into Justice Society of...
But how are you gonna just be like, oh, now they don't time travel?
Well, you can have the ship destroyed, and since there's no more of the
Ray can't make a magic ship, right? Or
he may not know.
Or Firestorm, the guy that has done all the mechanic
work. It's an entire
work.
season where you're stuck somewhere, because I mean, Flash and Arrow have been making it work. You can do it.
Ish.
They can get around it. There could be, whatever the thing is that makes the time travel work. The plutonium in this, in this ship's universe is something we can't get in our century or something. I mean, you could do it. And I think that would be better to ground the show a bit. But I think they moved it from Thursday to be on Tuesdays after Flash will help its ratings.
Are they doing that
for the second half of the season? And I think that will boost its ratings back up because Flash is the strongest show, I think, right now on the network overall. I love Supergirl, but I think Flash...
I think Supergirl is stronger this season, personally, but that's not really what we're talking about.
Yeah, you're saying story-wise.
Yeah, but as far as like ratings go.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And so having people sit down to watch Flash, a lot of them will stick around to watch Legends of Tomorrow because it's right there and it has the same universe and things like that.
And it's going to be on at the exact same time as our show.
It is, yeah, which is unfortunate. But, what are you going to do? So,
we should sue them. That's the answer.
What was that DVR and streaming option?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
we're going to
that's
sue them. You heard it here first, folks.
That's my pick, though. I think Flash will boost its ratings back up, and it'll survive for a season 3.
I don't think so.
So.
Yeah, I don't think Flash is in any danger.
No, I meant Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Will get its own boost from Flash
to
get another season. So. Okay, so we have 2 more in each category. So let's go back to film. What film do you think you will dislike the most?
Oh, this one's easy for me. It's Transformers or Fate of the Furious.
I actually put those exact same two.
So I also put Transformers.
Yeah. Because you're a Fast and the Furious fan, so you want that to be successful.
We didn't talk about which blockbuster I think will bomb because we talked so much about yours.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I put Transformers as my...
No way.
Because
it's not going to bomb, but...
I get the feeling this is the last one. Like, we are done with Michael Bay's crap. Like,
it might be the last one, but it'll still make a fortune.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's the reason why I didn't pick that one. Because it's going to be bad.
It's going to...
For sure.
It's going to be awful.
Not
but it's
Power
not
Rangers bad, but it's going to be...
It could be. Who knows? No, so I picked Transformers as well for what I'll dislike the most, but I also picked The Bye-Bye Man.
Oh, well, that wasn't...
It's a horror movie coming out, and the bad guy's name is The Bye-Bye Man. And it looks awful, and the name is the laziest thing I've ever seen in any movie title ever. Parodies come up with better ideas than this stuff. They can't even parody this movie. That's how bad it looks. So those are my 2 picks.
I feel like he needs a hug because that movie exists.
Yeah, probably.
Like that movie is an insult to his money.
I miss good horror movies, and there's just every 6 months is another just terrible horror movie, and this one doesn't even have a decent title.
That's true.
I mean, last year we got Witch. That's a decent title. Witch. That's nothing bad about that title. The Bye-Bye Man is your bad guy.
There was The Boy last year with Maggie Cohen.
I don't remember that one.
It was the one where like the soul of their dead child strapped in the puppet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
but that was at least a unique concept. It was kind of like Night of the Living Dummy-esque kind of thing, And I could have some
reference.
I did. I
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is that Goosebumps?
Yeah.
R.L. Stein reference in here?
So like,
why hasn't that gotten a sequel?
We all know why.
There's 4 of those.
No, the Goosebumps movie.
Oh, the Goosebumps movie, the one with Jack Black?
Yes.
Okay,
not the
moving on.
book. Jesus.
Sorry.
Let's go to what film do you think will surprise everyone negatively or positively?
I think
I picked a good and a bad. So
I picked Alien Covenant.
Was yours bad or good?
I feel like it's gonna be bad. People were so on the fence about Prometheus. I didn't hear a lot of great things about it. But also, I think it's still gonna make a decent amount of money. And then Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, I think is going to be a decent movie that we'll probably all enjoy, but it's not going to make any money, so
Right.
it'll just be swept under the rug.
It would be another Fifth Element, basically.
Yeah.
And it'd come back with a vengeance.
Yeah. And in 30 years, it'll get pops. So.
That's true.
For me, for bad, I also picked Alien Covenant. Prometheus got a bad rap because Ridley Scott refused to admit that it was an alien movie. This time around, he's admitting it's an alien movie, and so I think people's expectations are going to be too high going into a new alien movie after so long. I don't think it's going to be very good. I like Michael Fassbender a lot, but apparently he wasn't enough to save Assassin's Creed, so I don't think he's going to be enough to save Alien Covenant either. He'll probably be
He
fantastic.
couldn't save X-Men Apocalypse, so...
Right?
No.
And he's the best part of Prometheus for me. He's great. But I don't think he's going to be enough to save this movie.
How did she have a C-section and then run right after?
It's future science medical tech. I
My
don't know.
sister's had C-sections. She can't even poop for like a week.
Yeah, but this is like 1,000 years from now. I don't know what
There's
tech
so
we're
much
gonna have.
technology in there. They give you special running legs when you get C-sections in the future.
Abdominal surgery.
The whole thing's done by a machine. It's cauterizes
Alright,
stuff. I don't
alright,
know.
alright.
Regenerates her
It's getting
ligaments. I have no
gross, guys,
idea.
okay?
I'm sorry.
But for the positive one, I actually think Logan will be much better than
You
people.
son of a
have been
gun!
calling
You
for.
stole my only positive one.
All right, well, Ryan, then you tell me why.
No, I mean I actually did have two positive ones, but
Compared to the other Wolverine movies, because I feel like that's not hard.
well, I mean, if
No,
you look at the trailer, this one's so much different.
It
It
is.
really is.
And it's the same guy that directed the only good Wolverine movie, or the only decent Wolverine movie, debatably, The Wolverine.
I like the Wolverine.
He's directing this one too. I like The Wolverine too. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was certainly the
Compared
best
to
Wolverine
Origins,
movie.
I mean,
The big
it's
bad guy
great.
wasn't good, but I felt like it
No.
was equally as interesting as Apocalypse from a bad guy perspective.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it was
know.
fine, but I think this one is more. I think he had more. I don't know if he actually wrote it or just had. I actually think I made a note on that. Yeah, I didn't write that, but yeah, I think he had more influence in the actual direction of the film on this one because of the success of the Wolverine. So this is the way he wanted to go from the beginning with Wolverine as the character, and also the same way that Hugh Jackman wanted to go with the character. Hugh Jackman's been talking for years before the Origins even got made that he wanted to do Old Man Logan.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
I think this one's going to be a labor of love, and I definitely think it's going to surprise people. So.
And I think we're going to give Patrick Stewart an opportunity to actually act. A lot of the time when he plays Professor X, he has to be very rigid, and he doesn't have to do that in this one. He gets to be a little more creative with the character.
And
Patrick
the thing
Stewart...
is, Professor X in the comics is not this infallible good person.
He has problems.
Yeah, he has mental issues, and he has, the very first storyline and the very first issue, he is conflicted because he has a crush on Jean Grey, and she's like 16.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
So,
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it
mhm.
quite a bit, actually. More so than I was looking forward to Apocalypse. So... Because this just seems more interesting to me.
Yeah.
I agree.
The darker tone. Apocalypse didn't have that dark of a tone, really.
I-
Well, and this is so much more character focused, and I think that's maybe what some of the
It looks like
superhero
The Last
movies
of
are
Us,
losing.
except
Yes,
with Logan.
it totally does. It
I
totally
kind of wish
does.
X-23 was a little bit older, because
I do
right
too.
after this, I want an X-23.
Well, I want her to at least take Wolverine's place in the X-Men universe. I mean, she can do that at the age she's at, but I feel like there's going to be some time travel or something happening. So I'm sure she'll be older later on. We'll see. So I had that as my positive. I also had Thor Ragnarok. I think that Taika Waititi or however you say his name, he has his only movie that I've seen of his was very interesting, but it was very low budget
What
compared
We Do
to what
in the
they're doing.
Shadows?
Yes, compared to what he's doing now, which is a blockbuster Marvel superhero movie. I'm very interested with the title, the 80s kind of logo. I think that movie is going to be better than people think it is. I still don't think it's going to make a lot of money simply because it's the Thor movie, and the past two have not been very good. But I think it's going to surprise people. For my negatively, I put John Wick 2. I think that John Wick, the original, was kind of a sleeper hit, and people really loved it once it started catching on. Everybody was like, "This is actually really good." John Wick 2, I think, is going to be Die Hard 2. It's going to be the second franchise films of all these movies that is not anywhere near as good as the first.
Right.
More of the action and less of the things that people liked about the original. So that was my negative surprise, I think.
Fair enough. So we're at the hour mark, so we're going to have to go through the last two of these
really fast
at a decent pace. So here we go. What long-running show, meaning 4 seasons or more, do you think will end or get canceled in 2017?
Once Upon a Time. I feel like it's reached
Really?
its peak. It's got a huge following. It's very visual, very beautiful, but I feel like it's been stringing along on its Disney connection too long, and very few of the characters are dynamic anymore. So I think they're just going to do what Grimm did, which was slowly peter out and lose interest and just say, let's end on our own note and just kind of bow out. I think that's what's going to happen. I also think New Girl's going to get canceled. It's been pushing it for a while. I don't think it'll bow out on its own. I think Fox will just be like, look, Zooey Deschanel, we're done with your quirk.
Perhaps. Ryan?
So mine's weird because I basically answered the opposite thing for the same show, but I think it all depends on the latter half of the season. I think Arrow is in grave danger because the first half of the season has been very well accepted compared to season 4. But from the trailer showing stuff for the last half of season 5, it could potentially be really terrible. And if it is, then I think that show is really in danger of being canceled, and Arrow and all the other characters on that show would be like guest characters in the other show, and that would be the end of that part of the universe, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
It's just like the Wonder Woman Justice League thing. It really, there's a lot of depending on something else.
So for me, I actually picked Last Man Standing, which is Tim Allen's sitcom, which is basically Home Improvement if he had daughters.
I'm surprised it's
same wife.
Not quite, but yeah, I mean it's season 6, but it's kind of declined over time, and I think that one's probably run its course at this point, and Tim Allen, probably will move on to something else after 2017. All right, what franchise do you think is going to get the next reboot announcement?
I feel like all signs point to a Masters of the Universe.
That was one of my 2 answers too.
There's been an increased interest in the franchise from a lot of different angles. So I don't know if it's coming in cartoon form, which I would prefer. See a new cartoon.
Give me a live action He-Man.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
All right.
Give it to me.
We got that, man. Dolph Lundgren.
I'm aware. But I want a new one with Michael Bay a long ways away.
The thing is, I want like quality stuff, because this second Thundercats show, while not received as well, story-wise it was much better. It had a connecting plot. Characters had motivations. They didn't just...
But then you look at the newer He-Man show that came out, and it was not good.
No.
So, I mean, I think...
But right now, Masters of the Universe has a really good comic out, so...
Yeah.
They could take what they could take the reins from Conan and do King He-Man, and you could have Lundgren as old He-Man.
I'd be okay with that. But the only way I'd be okay with them doing animated is if it was the same people that kind of do the DC animated stuff, and they went that direction instead of doing a kids TV show, doing an animated movie.
DC is putting out the comic, so
yeah, that's what
DC
I would
the
hope
franchise,
that's
or
what it is.
owns a portion of something.
Yeah.
If Thundercats was my other pick, I feel like
I thought that had already been announced, though.
Has it?
Michael
I don't
Bay
think
is
it's been
attached to it.
I think there was a rumor of it, but I don't think that
I think
anything's
Michael
been
Bay
confirmed.
said in an interview a while
He wants
ago
to do
that
it.
he wants it, and
Okay.
people are ready to hand it to him, but so far no money is passed, no contract signed.
I think that.
So I kind of counted that, though, as the studio's interested in doing it. There's a director interested in doing it, so it's...
But the question was which one will get confirmed, right?
It could.
I thought we were talking about what got announced in 2017.
Well, nothing's been announced that
okay.
Thundercats is. There's no money exchange. There's nothing.
No, I
on
know.
Paper.
I
I mean, I just know there's interest in it, and again, give me a live action Thundercats. I don't care how ridiculous they look.
I care a little bit.
Put them in leotards and make
Smurf.
bodybuilders in
Bodybuilders?
bodybuilders in like cat makeup. And
See, I'm wearing off on him, I think.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, a little bit.
Red tomato.
Ronda Rousey would make a great Chitara.
That would be interesting.
Anyway.
She would.
Mine is actually Captain Planet. I think if Power Rangers...
That's already been announced. That's not
Yeah, way to
when
just
was Captain
steal that.
Planet announced?
It was announced like 2 months ago.
I'm going to find it.
Okay.
What's
Leonardo
his face?
DiCaprio's
Leonardo
behind
DiCaprio's
it.
behind it. Yeah.
Ew.
Is he as behind it as Michael Bay's behind Thundercats?
No.
No, he's actually like confirmed.
Let's get this.
All right, well...
In any case,
Oh, well.
Derek's
You have
going to
another one?
chastise me for doing the same thing, but you know, whatever. Except that I didn't actually do the same
Yeah,
thing.
October
He did.
17th, Captain Planet movie, Leonardo DiCaprio producing.
Okay. I thought that Thundercats had been announced too, so
Nope.
I forgot about Captain Planet. So...
Don
Convenient. When it's you forget.
Forgive me for not remembering that Leonardo DiCaprio wants to do a Captain Planet movie. I
wants to
apologize.
save the
Why would? How could you
So-
forget that? That's what I don't understand.
Because it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
All right, so we want to know what your predictions are for 2017. Do you agree with some of our stuff? Do you disagree? Let us know. You can hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/heroespodcasts. And you could drop us a review on iTunes. Screen Heroes is on iTunes. You can actually go to screen-heroes.com to go straight there and drop us a review. If you do, we will give you a shout out on the podcast. Be sure to join us live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central here on Twitch, where you can chat with us live, as we've had a couple of our longtime viewers do. And you can ask us questions and give us your opinion on things. We'll be sure to talk to you back and forth. Guys, any final words? What are we talking about next week?
Well,
Our favorites.
What?
I was gonna hit up the Patreon for just a quick second.
That's what he
Because
does.
that's what I do. New year, new Patreon offer. Okay, so I don't know how many people do we have on the Patreon right now, Derek. I know you hate talking about this, but we're gonna go there.
4.
4. Okay, so everyone that gives us money that comes out on February 1st, because if you give us a subscription on Patreon right now, the money won't come out till February 1st. That's when the first of the month is when they get charged. Everybody that does that, I will write a poem for you, and I will say it live on our stream 1 week in February. I won't do them all in 1 week, so you'll have to watch throughout the month.
Split them up, that's good.
I'm going to split them up throughout the month of February. So those 4 that we have right now, you're guaranteed a poem if your money is still coming out in February. But anybody else, you just make me write 100 poems, please. Like, I want you to do that. I want to spend an hour doing an after podcast show saying poems. Like, nothing would make me happier. So let's do it, and that's my Patreon pitch.
It's Mother Uckas is very excited about that.
Yep.
Very, very excited.
There
The
you go.
hands up, OMG emoji, like really,
Yeah,
really
it could be a
excited,
limerick.
so.
It could be a haiku.
Ooh.
It could be. It could be a.
Ooh.
It could be like a full-on book, like
A saga?
yeah, a saga. It could be a
Nice.
sonnet. It could be all. There's so many different options.
Ooh, would you follow I am
could
a
be-
pentameter
I
because
could.
my English nerd is getting a boner.
It could be slam poetry. I mean, we don't have any idea. It could be anything. And I will base it on what I know about you, which is probably just going to be your name, depending on who you are. So it could be really great. It could be horrible. But that's my offer to you, our listeners. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Get it in this month.
And Ray, next week, what are we talking about?
Our favorites, our top 5 favorite movies of all time. We're going to include franchises, and later on this year we're going to talk about very objectively what are the top sci-fi movies, what are the top fantasy movies, and we're not going to get our personal favorites. I guess I'm not entirely sure. We're not going to show favoritism in that case.
Oh, I'm showing favoritism.
As
But I'm
human,
gonna
as
hide
human
it.
beings, it's tough not to.
I'm going to hide it as fact, though.
Well,
So you
next
won't
week
know.
is our personal favorites. Not
Oh,
we're
is
not
it?
trying to be
Oh,
objective
okay.
next week.
Yeah.
But in the future, we might try
Try
our
to
best
be.
to. I do want to give a shout out though to our 2 biggest Patreon subscribers before I forget to do that, and that's Jordan and Doc Rev. I really appreciate you guys. I know Ryan and Ray do too. We love you guys. Doc, you're always on the podcast live stream with us, so we appreciate that as well. Thank you guys. You help us keep the website going. We have a brand new website, and that costs a little bit, and keeping the podcasts out there costs, and the equipment and everything. So thank you guys. I appreciate that a lot.
If you want your name said here with a poem, give us money.
That's right. Give us money in January. We appreciate it. It'll also go to help out any future stuff that we're doing. You know, Ray's still writing articles for us, which is cool. We've got the new Gamer Heroes podcast coming out on Friday, January 5th. We're trying to add some new stuff. So go ahead, check out our site, heroespodcast.com. We'll catch all you guys next week. Thanks, everybody.